Klarus XT11, one of my very favorite flashlights, which replaced my original favorite, which was the XT10. Excellent series of flashlights, great security and tactical flashlight with bright lumens. What I really love about Klarus, other than just the way it looks, which is just, it really has a classic look to it, is the buttons on the back. They're very intuitive on what to hit. You hit your main button and then you have your mode button. So it just makes it really simple. And guys, I like simple. There are a lot of really complicated lights out there, and I like to be able to pick up a flashlight and know exactly what to do when I pick it up. And that's one of the things about the Klarus. Plus, it's been very reliable. I've had zero problems out of the Klarus. In fact, this is my third XT11. Just exceptional. And one of the things that I always say in any of my light reviews is that light is the #1 security tool. Having light, being able to shine that, illuminate areas, be able to see, you know, even keeping yourself from tripping and falling. Flashlights are really important in a security situation. The other thing about a good flashlight, especially one like this XT11, is that with the crenulated bezel, it becomes an excellent defensive tool. It's a non-lethal option. In places where you can't carry a handgun or you can't carry a knife, typically you can still carry a flashlight, and this gives you some kind of protection, even if it's just to get away from a situation. So flashlights are fantastic, and I really think that you really need to look into a really good high quality light, especially one with a crenulated bezel. Of course, technology advances faster than our budgets, and here we have an XT12. This is an exceptional light based a lot on the original XT11. But one of the cool things that I really like about this is that it has a charging port right here, so it is rechargeable. Now, the 18650 battery that goes in the Klarus is a lithium-ion rechargeable battery, and so I can pull that out, throw it on a charger, no big deal. But the great thing about the XT12 is I can take my small little port and it locks in magnetically, and you have a USB cable that fits to your devices to be able to charge this anywhere. You can charge it in your car, you can charge it at home on your computer, or whatever. You have a USB cable device, and that is fantastic. The other thing about that too is you notice it's magnetic. It immediately clicks into the area that needs to be charged, and so that also makes it nice. Plus, it's not so heavy like a recharging station. You know, I've got chargers that, you know, they'll accommodate 4, 5, 6 batteries, and they're pretty large, they're weighty. You have to carry that around, and typically that's something you still can't charge in your vehicle or next to your computer. So while the XT12 is a little larger, it has a lot of capability. Again, the XT11 still has recharging capability with the battery, but you don't have to remove it with the XT12. Now, both have the really nice gray color to them. They have a stainless steel crenulated bezel. They are the same size. These can be switched out. Of course, they can be removed. You can put filters on here, or you can put extended crenulated bezels for more of a defensive option. And then also they do make a black version that'll go on here that'll match more the color. Now, this is a non-reflective stainless steel, and it is a satin kind of finish. But this is very effective. Plus, the impact resistance is 1.5 meters, so you can really impact these pretty hard without any fear of these things breaking or damaging the light. The length on the XT11 is 6 inches. The length on the XT12 is 7.5 inches. Also about 6.3 ounces for weight with the battery, and then 7.1 ounces with the battery on the XT12. It is a little bit larger, obviously, a little heavier. But one of the good things is they've upped the lumens on the XT12. The maximum output is 930 lumens. I mean, that is fantastic for this size light. That's almost 1,000 lumens in a very small package. Again, around just over 7 inches. Now, with the XT11, it's 820 lumens. So you're not really losing a lot. The lumen settings on here are different. The turbo setting on the XT12 is 930 lumens. Then it goes down to 140 lumens, and then the moonlight setting is 2 lumens. And then there's a strobe setting. And to get to those settings, you have a switch right here at the back. It's just a rubberized boot. You press it, you have light. To get to your mode settings, you can hit this little paddle. And this will go down to your 140 and then down to your 2 lumens, which is really great for map reading and things like that, especially in the dark. It'll blind you otherwise, so it's nice to have that setting. Then you can just go back in, repeat, and then cut off. Now, one of the great things I really like about this light is this little setting where I can get straight to strobe. With the light off, you hit this little paddle and it goes straight into strobe. I love how simple that is. I mean, it is so simple, it's so intuitive. So hit the light, go through your settings, cut it off. You're walking around, all of a sudden you're under attack or something, you want to hit the strobe, there you go. Just a really great design as far as the mode settings. And that's the same thing with the XT11. The paddle right here, it was actually changed to a more of a 45-degree angle, so you didn't have to push straight down. You could have any angle to be able to get to it, which makes it really nice. Now on the XT11 settings, it's 820 lumens, and then down to 160 on the medium compared to 140, and then on the low setting, it's actually 11 lumens. So you're going to get a little more in the downside on these lumens. So we're going from the high setting down to the 140, down to 11. And that gives you a little more light. Of course, that's going to expend your battery quicker, which is one thing to consider. While both of these in turbo will run about 2.5 hours, when it gets down to really high settings, these will go up to, in the low setting, up to about 260 hours, which is fantastic. Now another big difference is the XM-L2U2 that's in the XT12. The XT11 has the XM-L2, and so there's a little bit more of an advancement. Through the mineral glass lens, the XT11, which is on the right here, it has an orange peel reflector. The XT12 has a polished reflector, and then you can see the U2 LED in here compared to the standard XM-L2 LED, which the U2 is a little bit larger. Obviously the size of the head is the same, even though it looks for some reason like the XT12 is a little bit larger. Now you do get a ton of accessories. The sheath is real nice, has Velcro. It's just a really well done sheath. Of course, you get your charging cable as well, and you get a replacement boot, and then of course a couple of O-rings, lanyard, and a clip. One of the options which I really like is the Klarus charging cradle. You can actually place it in the cradle and then hook up your charger to it. You can mount this in a number of different places, including your vehicle, so you know where the light is at all times. I think that's a really cool feature, keeping a light in your vehicle where you can get to it. And again, that is an option. But it does come with a lot of great accessories to be able to adapt it to whatever need. And of course, the tactical ring right here will come on and off. Now the cooling channels right here keep the light from getting too hot, but LEDs do get very bright, very hot. This light is just an exceptional quality light. I mean, the finish on here is really well done. It's a hard anodized finish that is military grade. It is an aircraft grade aluminum. So again, it just a little over 7 ounces. Not too big, but it is a full flashlight. I mean, there are definitely smaller options out there. There are larger options. It's according to what purpose that you want to have for the light. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really like for it possibly to be in my vehicle or in my shop, hanging up somewhere where I can get right to it. I'm not setting it somewhere. It has its own place. I think that's just a great option. Also, with the charging area right here, it just makes it so easy to be able to put this anywhere, and that charging area doesn't get in the way. There's no little cover. And one of the great things about the little small covers is, even though this is waterproof up to 2 meters, which I've tested a lot of flashlights in that way, dropping them down, but with rechargeable, there's a little more concern because this can get water in it. This is made to just accept water. Water does not affect this charging docking station. Oh well, the pool's closed. We're just going to put it down in this little tub of water. And it's waterproof. And also the IPX8 is also for dust and dirt and things like that. It's going to really seal all those things out. And that has a lot to do with the O-rings, which you get spare O-rings with the light. Now as far as your battery goes, you can put any 18650 in here. It does have a dedicated battery source. This is a 3.7 volt lithium ion battery. This made specifically for the light. But you can put any of the rechargeable 18650s. You can also put 2 of the CR123s. So you have some variations here. It's not a dedicated light only for this flashlight, which makes it really nice, because 5 years from now, you never know where you're going to be or what's going to be happening. And that way you have some versatility. There's also springs in the front and the back. That way the battery's not going to be jamming up against anything, especially if you're going to mount this onto a weapon. I mean, this would be an excellent light, and I've used the XT11 as a weapons mounted light, which they do have pressure pads as accessories that go on here, and this can be mounted onto a flashlight mount to go onto your rifle, or however you want to use it. So this will protect it. There's also surge protection, and there's reverse polarity protection in these flashlights. You know, you see a lot of different lights out there, but a lot of these that we review, whether it's the Klarus, the Olight, the 47s, different lights, what they're coming out with now has a lot of features that really make these lights very versatile, but yet they protect it, and they give you a lot of service life. You can really depend on it. One of the things about the XT11 is it has been one of those dependable lights. I've had other lights, and sometimes, you know, the battery's dead, or it seems like every time I pick up the XT11, it just works, it functions. And I've never had any kind of surges while shining the light or flickers. It just is a very steady, solid beam. And the XT12 is in the same family, and it's going to be the same dependability that you can have with this light. Now, one thing that's also pretty cool about this light is it has a mounting option for a tripod, which I thought was pretty wild. Here I have just a small little camera tripod, and it's the same thread that goes into that. And so we just screw it right on. And I have it here on my tripod. I can use it mounted onto the tripod, hands totally free. Bring this down, shine it to whatever area I want to. That is a pretty cool feature. Also, the recharging docking station remains on top, so I could actually hook it up to here and leave it charging even on here. Okay, here we have the XT12. This is in the turbo setting, and you can see up this road. In fact, up at the top of that road is probably about 150 yards, and I can see the reflectors all the way to the top. Here you can see the trees. Those trees, that stand right there is about 50 yards out. Let's go down in the mode settings. Here you can see it on the road. I can see it, but the camera's not really picking it up. But you're getting that distance. That first reflector out there is about 25 yards. So to give you a good idea. But really, this whole area, the spill, and you're not going to really be able to get it. Spill's pretty decent. Now we're going to the low setting, and you can see, you know, it's great for, you know, close-up work, map reading, searching for something in your vehicle. But see, that really brightens it up. The XT12 is on the right. The XT11 is here on the left. We'll separate those out. But 840 lumens and 920 lumens, you know, it's not really that great of a difference in the light. Okay, here we have a fence about 50 feet away, and this is with the XT12, and we're getting right here, of course, with the 930 lumens, very bright. We're going to drop it down to the medium setting. Still have good light. You can see partially the spill. Again, you know, cameras are only going to pick up so much, but it is a decent little spill around it. Of course, my buddy's always out here with me when I'm doing my light reviews. He's so goofy. With the XT12, here we have this tree out here. It's about 50 yards out. Somebody has got a saw going. I can't believe it. Below those limbs, you might be able to pick up a little bit. There is my shooting range down there, and that's about 100 yards out, and it's lighting up that area pretty good. At least that's what I can see. The hotspot kind of blends in with the flood. It's not just super bright in one area. But I also wanted to compare this closer to the RS11. This is Klarus's flashlight as well, and it's a little bit different in the way it's set up. And so I think it's really important to kind of compare it with these two. One of the big things is, again, it has one of the magnetic chargers, but it's at the bottom. So you hook it right into the bottom, and then when you have it on your cradle, it fits right here, and then you have an area at the bottom that rests so you can actually charge it while it's in its cradle. That's a pretty cool little feature as well. Again, this cradle is optional, but it is worth the money. It has all the same features as the other three as far as the hard anodized finish, the aluminum body, the crenulated bezel that can be removed, and of course you can get all kind of filters to go with this as well. It's the same weight and length as the XT12. Same crenulated bezel, a lot of the same features, but one of the big differences is your power switch. But for those who want the controls right here at their thumb, the black, which it's recessed right here, so it's not something that's going to get bumped incidentally. But when you tap it, it's momentary only. So just momentary, momentary. And then the orange switch is strobe, momentary. Now, if you want to go into constant on, just press and hold. And there you go. You have constant on here. Now, this is the 930 lumens, just like the XT12. If we want to go into modes, we press and click. Okay, we went down to our second setting. That's actually 230 lumens, which is an increase. And then press and hold, and now we're down to our low setting of 5 lumens. Now, it does have a memory setting that if you leave it on for 3 seconds, that it's going to remain in that the next time you cut it on. So we're going to hold down and go up to our bright setting. We're going to hold it at that setting for 3 seconds. And then we're back at the main setting. And of course it's at momentary, stay, release, click, hold, click, hold. And then it's going to stay at that setting. Click, hold, we're back to bright. I'm going to let it set. And we're back at bright. The cool thing is the orange designates the strobe so you're not confused on which one. You know that orange means strobe. I've had flashlights before that had 2 buttons close together and I would forget which one hit which button. So this is a really simple, right at your thumb, you can hit it and do the different settings you want to. It is a great tactical light as well. It is IPX8, which means you can submerge it in 2 meters of water without any problem. And of course with this connection, there's no problem with it as well. I do have the clip administered, but it does come with all the things that the XT12 comes with as well. So it just gives you a lot of options. I mean, me personally, I don't typically keep a clip on this size light. But it is an option. And the sheath, you know, according to what you're doing, you can keep it handy with a sheath, with a lanyard, whatever you want to use, or you don't have to use it. And the light setup is really a cross between the XT11 and XT12. With the XT11, you had your orange pill reflector, and you do with the RS11. But you do have, with the RS11, the XM-L2U2, so the little bit larger LED bulb. So the big thing is just to decide which light works best for your needs. And, you know, some of us, we just want a light that'll work. A lot of guys want something very specific, and that's one of the things that Klarus does. It gives you the options to choose what you want. If you just want to have a simple plain flashlight like the XT11, I'm going to highly recommend it. It's fantastic. You're going to have to pull the battery out to recharge it, but it's just a great light. It's durable. These other two, the XT12 and the RS11, fantastic lights with really great recharging capability options. And so whatever you go with, I think you're going to be very pleased with the Klarus line. It's one of the first flashlights that I reviewed for Going Gear. In fact, I believe it was the XT10 was one of the first. And I have been in love with that light, and then obviously the XT11. Now, as far as price goes, the XT11 is $69.95, the XT12 is $89.95, and the RS11 is $95.95. Now, speaking of Going Gear, I want to thank Marshall at Going Gear for sending these lights. These reviews wouldn't be possible without the support of Going Gear. But one of the great things is they give you a 10% discount using Such when you check out, plus you get free shipping for any order over $49 in the continental US, which is a great deal. And then two, if these lights don't trip your trigger, there are 800 different lights on his website at goinggear.com. And there's also a store down in Smyrna, Georgia. It's wonderful. They have a wall of flashlights. You can go and check them out. And if many of you have followed my channel, you know about Going Gear and the great things. And you know, guys, I hear it all the time. You know, from Marshall, he's like, man, your guys that watch your channel are just great to deal with. And I want to thank you guys for being easy to deal with. That's what makes the world go round, is, you know, in a world where it seems like everybody wants to troll and haters are going to hate, you guys seem to be some of the top of the crop, and I really appreciate that. I know in the comments I get a lot of support, and I really appreciate it. So also, if you want to go by and check out my Instagram account, it's Such_00. I do a lot of stuff. In fact, I had a picture of these lights yesterday that I put on my Instagram account, and I do a lot of different things that we don't do here on the YouTube channel. Also on my Facebook page, it's Such Fun Gun Reviews Facebook page. Check that out as well. A lot of things, especially articles and political things that are going on, and again, pictures and fun stuff. And it's just another way to kind of connect and see what's going on in the crazy world of Such. So, so whether you go with the XT11, the XT12, the RS11, the Klarus line of flashlights is exceptional, and I guarantee you're going to like it. The XT12 by Olight, rechargeable, tough, bright light. Thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. One of the things that you're going to see, wait on this. So we're going to go down to the lowest setting. We're leaving it on. Now let's turn it off.
They like darkness better than light because their deeds were evil. #1 security tool, your flashlight.